Hi everyone, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel. Now, there are many reasons why some days are more difficult to get out of bed than others. We all have different lives, we all have different reasons, which is why I want to give you guys some tips on how you can get out of bed when either feeling exhausted, physically or mentally worn down, or maybe just a little bit sleepy. I just want to say this real quick. The reason why I'm making this video is because yesterday was one of those days for me. It seemed almost impossible to get out of bed. I probably spent around 3 or 4 hours just in and out of bed trying to stay up. So you're not alone if you struggle with this. So let's get into tip number 1. Tip number 1 is you gotta actually get up. I know, it's not really, it might not be what you wanted to hear, but you really do need to get up. I know some people try to overthink it too much, and that causes a little bit of anxiety or stress for them, which causes them to want to stay in bed even longer. So just try not to think about how warm or comfortable the bed is, and just think about the first step that you can make when you do get out of bed. Maybe it's you brush your teeth, you take a sip of water, something not something too hard, something very simple and basic, something that's not going to overwhelm your brain. In my case, I have a baby that wakes me up sometimes, and at that point I know he's already needing something. Having that little bit of motivation or motive to kickstart your engine in the morning can be a great way of actually getting out of your bed. Which leads me to tip number 2. Take a shower, or plan to take a shower at least. Whether it be cold or hot, or sometimes for me, I like it just in between, so it is still comfortable enough for me to get in, but it's also not hot enough to just relax all my muscles again. Tip number 3. This kind of goes with tip number 1, but for some people, having a to-do list or a routine may be helpful. For me, I'm horrible with a strict schedule, especially first thing when I'm waking up, because sometimes my wake-up times can vary. You need to have a general idea of what you need to function and what you know will give you energy during the day. And that will lead me into tip number 4. Be mindful of what gives you energy and what drains it. I know that for many people, the first thing they do in the morning or whenever they wake up is to go on their phone or just check their phone. But honestly, your phone is full of so many unnecessary distractions that can actually delay your natural process of what you really need to do in the day. Some people could wake up and spend hours just on their phone, not really getting to do the things that they need to do and giving them that motivation and that jump start to waking up in the morning. Even if you don't have anything specifically planned for the day, try to just plan for yourself to get up, maybe just brush your teeth, get a glass of water, or maybe even just making yourself a really hearty meal. Just keep reminding yourself of getting yourself something that will give you energy. Try some yogurt with granola or something, instead of maybe a sugary donut for breakfast. Something that will keep you full for the next couple of hours. If you do a little bit more research on how the types of foods affect your mind and your body, you'd be actually quite surprised of how much it can have an impact on your energy levels. Tip number 5. Make your bed after you get out of it. For some people, it make them feel bad for ruining their bed if they get back in it. For me, it gives me the space to comfortably lay down on it for later when it really is time to relax. It gives me that kind of looking forward to go back to bed, but also keeping in mind that right now is not the time for it. In my personal experience, when I feel exhausted or a little bit drowsy, and when I've tried literally everything to try to keep myself awake, I have the horrible habit to go lay back down. Just try to make a designated time throughout your day to take a nap or take a little rest if you can. Tip number 6 is fresh air. I know when I wake up, the first thing I also do is open up all my windows just to let the light in. It's not even fresh air, it's just the light. But the light alone will naturally wake me up as well. And for the fresh air, even just opening a window or going outside for 5 to 10 minutes minimum can be super beneficial for trying to wake you up and boosting your energy levels. Just take a moment to breathe. You know, you don't always have to rush and jump and get out of bed first thing. Now, tip number 7 is actually going to be of how you can sleep better to hopefully avoid overall feeling low or drowsy when you wake up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I just want to share this in hopes that it helps a little bit. And for night shift workers, this works wonders for me. The first thing you can do is to black out your room as much as possible. Just block out as much light as you can in order that nothing really interrupts you. Number 2 is to set the temperature to not too hot, but also not too cold. I know there have been some sleep research of how your natural body temperature sits around 70 or 68 or something like that. So making sure it's not too hot or too cold to also, again, not to interrupt your sleep. And also number 3 is to get rid of any distractions in the area, aka phones or any devices that might randomly go off, and then you have that sudden urge to go check what the message was. Just make sure you can limit as much distractions as possible. When it comes to sleeping during the day, it can be very tricky. And even if you do sleep at night and then take naps during the day. Another thing is actually finding the most comfortable sleep position for you. For me, it's laying literally straight on my back, no pillow. And this last one might sound a little bit weird, but it has to do with the avoiding interruptions. And that is to go to the bathroom or try not to drink too much water before you go to sleep. And I think that is pretty self-explanatory why. There's also been some research done of when you do wake up in the middle of the night and then you turn the light on, or maybe you check your phone, the light actually it has something to do with resetting your melatonin levels. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it actually makes it harder for you to fall back asleep. Obviously, all of these tips are going to take some experimenting and take some time, so just have patience with it. And with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoy and maybe found 1 or 2 of these tips helpful, or maybe it's just a simple reminder. The point of this video was to bring the awareness so that we can all practice mindful habits to better our lives and to help us get through the day. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in the next video.